Hey, hey, how y'all doing? Unfortunately, I couldn't get Facebook Live to go, so hopefully you can easily click over here onto YouTube, and I'll post it later, anyways. So hope you're all having a happy Labor Day, and I hope you're actually barbecuing with your buddies and your family right now. Never want to pull you away to come on social media. But I got some very important information that I would like to share with you, and let's get right to it. We got a lot to cover. So, first of all, I want to go over the physical assessment. We're going to go test by test. So, I'm actually going to upload a new version of the workbook because on the workbook, step 3 is to do the SMART goals, and step 4 is to complete the physical assessment. And I actually think you should do the physical assessment before the SMART goal process, because it will probably, what you get from the physical assessment will probably inform some of your SMART goals. Hopefully, at least one or two of those are going to be addressing specific postural issues if necessary. So, okay, very first thing you're going to do is you're going to take a resting heart rate. So first, just sit down and breathe all the way in, exhale all the way out for like 1 minute, and then take your resting heart rate and check that. And you can just pulse rate, ulnar pulse here, and 15 seconds, and multiply by 4. Pretty easy. And by the way, it's really going to help you for this test if you have a partner with you. And actually, I was thinking, if you just do this on Facebook Live or on YouTube, and you can change the settings so that it's totally private, it just records for you. That's a great way to do some of at least the first 7 things on this test. And it's very easily shareable, and you can go back and view it. Okay, so then the first physical one is your body weight squat. And now, by the way, for numbers 2 through 7, I really don't care how you do this. At the most basic level, you probably just want to stick with the type of each of these exercises that I have listed, which are for anybody, even total beginners. But if you're more experienced, especially with the weightlifting exercises, you can do, for the first one, you can do a barbell back squat. You can put whatever amount of weight on there, 135. It's just that you're going to do whatever you do at the beginning, you're going to do the same exact thing at the end. So I'm just going to do a body weight squat, and this is what we're looking for. And this is the question. Can you lower your hips to or below the knees while keeping the heels down, the knees in line with the heels, and the spine in a neutral position? Yes? Almost? Not quite? Or this movement causes pain? That's going to be the question for each of these. So let's go for the body weight squat. And I got my heels down. I'm not gonna get into details on body mechanics today. I will in the future, but let's just go through this test and what we got to do. Okay, so can I get my hips below my knees? Can I keep my knees tracking in line with my feet? And can I keep my spine in a neutral position and stand fully up? And so for each of these, just do about 5 repetitions. You don't have to do more than 5 repetitions. Looking from the side. Okay, there's your body weight squat. And we'll take a look at that. And what we're looking for now is, do we keep the shoulders level as well? And do we have symmetry? Do we look the same on both sides? So, okay, great. Then the next one's going to be a spine bar hip hinge. Just if you have any kind of like broomstick or one of those PVC pipes, I have just this is actually a pull-up bar. But I'm going to use this. And so the idea here is, can you hinge at the hips, allowing the knees to bend slightly while holding a straight bar along the back and spine, and keeping the head, shoulder blades, and tailbone in contact? So let's take a look. I got it in contact with my tailbone, shoulder blades, and head. And now I'm going to bend at the waist, bending slightly at the knees, and see what kind of range of motion I can get here. And yeah, I'm going to do just a couple of repetitions here. I don't need to do any more than 5. And you don't need to kill yourself on this assessment. Okay, don't like be grinding it out. Just do what you can for today. All right, then the next one is a pull down machine, or you can do an assisted pull up, unassisted pull up, any kind of pull down motion. And I actually don't even have anything out here. I'm just going to go through the motion. This is essentially testing your overhead range of motion. And the question here is, can you complete the pull down exercise by going through a full shoulder range of motion, beginning with the arms extended overhead, next to a slight shoulder rotation, then to elbow bending, pulling the lever to the collarbone level, then reversing the motion back to the top while keeping the shoulder blades retracted through the motion. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's see if we can do this. We do this from a kneeling position. Overhead, shoulder blades retracted. I'm going to begin by having this little bit of shoulder rotation so that the bar comes out in front of my head, because then I'm going to pull it straight down along the line of my head, and I'm going to end up down here and see if I can keep the shoulder blades retracted through that whole motion. Okay, and that's your pull down or pull up. Okay, next you have an elevated push-up, or you can do a regular push-up. And the question is, can you complete a push-up with hands on an elevated surface, in the case of the elevated push-up, with the feet on the floor, then beginning with elbows extended, then controlling your body weight down, elbows bending and shoulders rotating, then pressing back up while holding your hips and spine in a neutral position, and the shoulder blades retracted through the motion. Shoulder blades retracted through the motion. That's one of the keys here. So we'll set the hands, extend the hips, and now the hips and shoulders will rise, they will fall, and they will rise at the same rate. And see if you can keep that neutral spine as you go for your push-ups. So you're not tenting up and you're not sagging down. That's the key there. All right, great. And then the next one is going to be a side plank B, which is I have these ordered A, B, C, and D side planks. So let me show you what and you can actually do any version of this that would be appropriate for you. But for the side plank B in particular, the question is, can you support your weight with one elbow, forearm, and lower leg on the ground while extending and lifting hips, keeping shoulder blades retracted and spine in a neutral position? So let's test this one. I'm here. Maybe I'll come for a side profile so we can see what's going on. And then I'm just going to sit myself up, hips forward and up, head back. And also for this one, you probably want to see both sides. See if you notice any difference from one side to the other. Okay, that's your side plank. Sorry about the screaming chickens. Seventh is brisk walking gait. You can also make this running. And the question here is, can you walk or run at a brisk speed for a short duration? You don't need to do any more than 1 minute. And then can you express balanced oppositional shoulder and hip rotation, knee flex and extend, ankle dorsiflexion for optimal stride length, while keeping the spine in a neutral position, hips and shoulders rotating at appropriate angles and remaining level. Okay, so there's a lot to this one, and there's some big words, okay? It's we'll talk more about each of these details, but for now, we're just gonna film it or take a picture of it. Let's see how it looks. I'm just gonna run out and back. Okay, so you can check that out. And we'll talk more about what exactly we can do to clean that up and refine it and see if there's any asymmetries when you're walking or running. All right, so then the last one is a 6-minute bike test. And this one can be a little bit more complicated. But, and look, so there's two things going on. You have the biking, and you're going to see how far you can go in 6 minutes. You want to have some way, if you're on like a bike at the gym that has a screen that tells you how far you're going, that's probably the easiest way to do this. But, you can also bike outside, particularly if you have access to a track, because you know how long that is. But even if you just wanted to do just see how far you go in 6 minutes, and it doesn't have to be a precise, you don't maybe you don't even know how far that is exactly, but if you do the same path again and you see that you went further the second time, then that's awesome. You have progressed. But there's a second component to this, and it's monitoring the heart rate. Now, if you can do both of these things at the same time, and this is going to be way easier if you're just on a stationary bike and you have a partner with you. But you could also do this outdoors. If you have a heart rate monitor by chance, you can do it that way. But if it's too complicated to do the heart rate thing, don't worry about the heart rate thing. It's more important to do the distance test, okay? If you did want to do the heart rate thing, then you would take your heart rate at the very beginning, you would take it at the very middle, the 3-minute mark, and then you would do it immediately after the 6 minutes. And then what you can do with those two factors, your miles and then your beats, I have a quick little algorithm or formula that you can get basically a miles per beat number statistic, which I don't see this often used, but it could be a pretty telling number, because if you can, like, for instance, if you can go like 20% further, but you have the same heart rate, that's obvious progress, right? So that's it. And that's the assessment. You want to do this before you do your the goal setting process. All right. I'm getting close to my 15-minute mark, but I really want to try to get, this might push up to like more 20 minutes. I want to go over a few articles, okay? So just 3 quick articles that are basically revolved around, these articles are related to the fundamentals of exercise. And so the first one is an article by Monica Schloter, PhD performance consultant. And here's what she says. And she's talking about posture. Why do we care about posture so much? Why do we do this physical assessment? What's the point of it? Okay, well, she says posture is all about body awareness, which is interpreted as being cognizant or conscious of personal postural habits. Proper is construed as correct body alignment, whereby the pull of gravity is evenly distributed over the base of support with undue stress on the body. The position of the body in any environment or mode, such as standing, sitting, lying down, leaning forward or backwards, etc. Posture is based on the position of the spine and all the joints in the musculoskeletal system. It refers to a few different things. It can refer to physical carriage, the way somebody holds his or her body, especially when standing. It's also a body position the body can assume, and it can be an attitude or a frame of mind. But posture is linked to a combination of neurological factors such as vision, touch, balance, kinesthetic awareness, and a well-functioning vestibular or inner ear, good functioning there. Psychological and emotional stress, low self-esteem, depression, lack of sleep, and burnout are all contributing factors that relate to body carriage. So it's hugely important. And that's one of the main things that we're going to focus on throughout this 12-week challenge. There she goes. Okay, so the second one is the title of this article is Long-Term Adherence to Health Behavior Change. And they have a really good chart that I'm going to briefly go through in this article. So this is more to do with, this is something that this study pertains to health practitioners. But I just want you to I want you to listen to and see how the word association and how it can be applied for us in a sort of, you know, client coach relationship. Okay. So, one pillar of adherence is extended care, providing long term contact individually or by a group. And it could be in person, the phone, or internet. Okay. So, having continuity of contact and coaching in this context is really important to exercise adherence. Then there's skills training. Specific training in problem solving skills or relapse prevention. I mean, for us, that's a matter of like, we're taking a look at your body mechanics and we're going to address these issues. Yeah, we're going to address your physical limitations. We're not going to avoid them. And we may have to learn specific skills in order to deal with those. Or maybe you're not dealing with an injury, but you're just looking to achieve advance your athletic career. The same idea there. We need to advance your skill level. Okay, social support is a huge part of this. Increasing social support through skills training or reinforcement of participants with friends and family. So I just want to bring you guys in around this fitness challenge. Let's do this. Yeah, we're in this together, and I want to. I'm really glad I can bring in people from all different parts of my life into one space. It's really awesome. And okay, treatment tailoring, making flexible treatment recommendations that can be tailored to individual preferences and schedule. So you can look at this as treatment. Exercise is treatment, even if you're not necessarily ailing from anything. It's so good for us. And so replace treatment with exercise as our treatment. Think of it that way. And flexibility is really the key. I've been talking to so many of you with far different things that you're looking to accomplish and challenges that you're facing. And it's so cool that we can bring you guys all around. We're all going to be on this program together because this program is very flexible. There's a couple more here, but I want to skip ahead. Let's do this last article. This is by Mark Ripito. He's a CrossFit guy. But I thought this little paragraph here is something that is really important that I want to talk about. And this is more for the maybe the more advanced athletes who are looking to reach performance. But it's not to say that any of you can't be. We're all athletes. As far as I'm concerned, you guys are all athletes. And so he says, exercise is physical activity. And he's drawing the distinction. The title of the article is The Important Distinction Between Exercise and Training. Okay, so exercise is physical activity performed for the effect it produces today, right now. Each workout is performed for the purpose of producing a stress that satisfies the immediate needs of the exerciser. Training is physical activity performed for the purpose of satisfying a long-term performance goal and is therefore about the process instead of the workouts themselves. And since the process must generate a definable result at a point in time removed from each workout, the process must be planned to produce this result. Training may also be the best way to achieve the goals that many people seek through exercise. Okay, and so this is where eventually, after our goal setting process, we are going to come up with an exercise plan. And if you're less advanced, your program might be very simple. If you're more advanced, if you're more trained and you want to continue to make progress, then the plan becomes more and more important. And I really look forward to working with all of you on this part of the challenge. All right, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll probably catch up with you guys before next Monday, but you can look forward to this Exercise, Science, and Culture show Mondays at 5:30. Have a great night.